Well, I'm still stuck on Jammy.
Not Jammy.
No, because she would know.
She's not gonna know.
She'll never know. Because what is Jammies, Bethany?
It's just jammies. It's not I didn't mean it.
Because she was trying to say,
time.
What was that, Jen? What was she trying to say?
Jamie. But apparently, if you don't put an E at the end of Jamie, it's
Words
Jammy
are hard,
to Bethany.
guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dark Collective podcast with me, Jen, and Bethany is back.
You can't hear
Talking about Jammy.
Oh, and Jammy, yeah, naturally.
If you could see my face right now. They have yet to let me live this down.
So
it was one time.
In the beginning of this episode, we always like to throw in like a funny snippet of us talking, and I automatically know that we're using this portion. But the great thing about Bethany, I will say this in every episode, this woman always has everything super freaking organized. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that she is in charge of for Sinners in Stardust is our volunteers. And we have, 40 volunteers?
42.
Yeah.
42 volunteers.
And Bethany can't read good, so
So Jen and I have talked about how we've given a lot of our volunteers that we've met or have a little bit closer relationships, we've given them nicknames so that we don't have to learn their names. But Bethany has to know all their names, but yet she can't read their names.
I can't read names. I just pronounced it the way that it looked like in my head. And then I was corrected, and then she told me, and I really appreciate that she told me. But then my brain just said, I'm going to take everything that you just told me, and I'm just going to forget it in that filing cabinet in the corner with dust and boxes all over it. And you're just going to say exactly what you think it is.
Jamie, we love you. We love you, Jamie.
I love you so much. I'm so sorry, Jamie.
So
I'll be better.
we talked about Boston a lot, but one of the things I feel like we haven't really touched on as much as we would love to is the Hilton Boston Park Plaza. It is a mouthful now because Hilton purchased it since we signed up, which was just Boston Park Plaza. And I've said this a few times, but I still think to this day it's so cool because I grew up with Home Alone because I'm a millennial. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is, if we all remember Home Alone 2, where he goes to New York and he's at the Park Plaza, that is the same thing in Boston, which I thought was so cool that they accepted our dark romance.
They are so inclusive though, man. Like I love them.
So inclusive.
I want to be there every year.
I love that
Mario. No.
I literally what I love is Mario, and then who is the head of the AV department? What was her name?
Nina?
Yeah.
I want to say Nina.
I think it's Nina.
And I have videos, and like I was like, hey, can you do like a video real quick to introduce who you are? And they were so on point. Like I couldn't believe. I'm going to throw in a little clip right here just so you guys can see like how professional they were, just because it was so amazing, because I was not expecting them to be like, I'll be on camera.
Hi, so my name is Mario. I'm the senior sales manager here at the Hilton Boston Park Plaza.
Hi, I'm Nina. I am the sales manager with Encore, the in-house AV company.
We're 100% going to send him an email and be like, Mario, we put you on our podcast.
Put you on the podcast, Mario. I'm like, leave me alone. You message me all the time.
Mario loves and hates us.
Every single date next year's booked. Sorry.
What, you want in August? Yeah, there's no dates.
He's like, that contract we were working on. Shredded it. Didn't exist.
What contract? Even did not compute.
Who are you?
I love that at Boston Park, though, there is, because I travel a lot, and I know Jen travels a lot, and Bethany is now traveling a lot. So, we do go to a lot of different hotels, but I think what sets it apart so much is there's so many tiny little nuances that you don't see in other hotels. And I think that that's something to be said, because we are a book author signing event. We are a dark romance ball, and they have a freaking library, which is just so dope.
So pretty.
With like
it's so pretty.
200 plugins for like
literally 200
regular.
We should have counted them.
Plugins. Like, we should. Next time we go, we're gonna count, because there's just so many plugins.
It's also the fact that like they have, I guess, like restaurants, and it's not like a hotel restaurant. It's kind of like their own thing. But with like we talked about with one of our videos with the Starbucks, the ordering, a lot of times with hotels, which it's great they do it, but it's not the same. Like you can't order ahead. Like they like serve Starbucks, but they aren't Starbucks. And with this one, it was just like, no, you can like order ahead and we can just walk
You
down
can
and grab
mobile
it.
order Starbucks from your room and pick it up downstairs. I mean, for those coffee addicts like myself, like that's fantastic.
See, my favorite thing is going to be the filtered water stations because I drink water like nobody's business. We're not going to have a video on this one. Red and I both are like,
sucking on our jaws.
I'm pretty sure it's
mine's
every
dirty
floor
right now.
has a filtered cold, and it's cold because that's
It's
key
cold
too.
water.
A lot of times you get them and they're like lukewarm, but they're delicious. Like I'm so
You
happy.
spit it out.
Every time we walk by, we're like, floop, floop.
Every
My
single
water
time.
filling up, floop.
I also, I think, you know, something I don't see very often, and I just because I don't stay in super nice hotels when I travel for work, I'm usually in like a Marriott or whatever, I love that the key card is so important when you're there, like just for getting it to your floors, to your rooms. Like it just made
safety,
me feel like a little bit more safe just because I knew that no one could come to my floor or, you know, go to any floor without a key card. So I don't know. There's just like tiny little things like that. I mean, obviously the bar. What was the bartender's name that we kept pronouncing it wrong? What was his name?
Because he
June. We kept calling him June, but it wasn't that. The other bartender corrected us and he's like,
oh yeah, he's like, who's that? We're like, that's what he told us.
I feel like he gave us a fake name on purpose.
I think so.
He
was like, stay away. Just stay away.
Like, fine. Also, because we're a book event, I love that there's a FedEx on site.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to work on getting like a flat rate shipping out fee rate, you know, I don't know what to say there. Flat rate. For like
for the flat rate.
The flat rate. We're trying, so we'll see how that goes. But I like that the FedEx is right there. It's on one of the floors as one of the author signing rooms, so you can just go throw them in there and ship them out.
I also love that there was already a massive event happening the weekend that we were there, and it never felt disorganized. It never felt overcrowded, and there was a lot of people there. Like I would easily say there was over 800 people there, but it never felt like there were that many people there, right? Like it never felt overcrowded, and I think it's the layout itself, you know, and it's just really cool. And how much the hotel itself though also promotes you. Like they put signs up everywhere of what's happening, and they even in your, like on a screen, like when you're walking through the hallways, they'll be like, oh, this is happening today. And I just,
or in the room, which I don't know if they're gonna put up because the name of some of their stuff, I can see that being maybe a no for other hotel guests. But it was really cool that we were sitting there on the bed watching the TV, and it was like, bing, here's the panels for this event going on today in Times. I was like,
it was
this
so
is
cool.
Awesome.
I was
so
like,
organized.
can we make a video just so when people turn their TVs on, it's just our faces and we're like, good morning.
Welcome.
We're like, hey, so you have the numbers for all the room block rooms. Can you just like set it up for there?
Can we be dressed up as like creepy vampires and it's like dark?
And we're just like turn around and be like, hello, we're here.
And we like pop up at random rooms and like kick their door in. Too far.
It's like the Super Bowl where Dora was like, do you need a map to the end zone? Like, do you want to know what we're doing? Why are we like this? I love it. So, you know, we're again, you guys, we're super stoked about the hotel for you guys to see everything. And it just made me think though, because the library, what are we all reading right now? Because I know that we're all very much on different reading paths right now. I know I am finally finishing Carissa Broadbent's second book. I'm so excited for it. And then I'm also audiobooking the last book in the Blood and Ash series, because we all know Red's a marshmallow.
I got a marshmallow.
I love marshmallow.
Bethany, what are you reading right now?
I haven't picked this book up in a minute because I've just been so busy. This is by Jason Pinter, which I think he's under the pen name A.L. Brody.
Yeah.
And I say this wrong every time, even though I know the words. Okay, I do. I think is it dating and dismemberment? I think it's dating and dismemberment.
Yeah, dating.
Because my brain doesn't want to do that. It always wants to be like death and dismemberment. I'm like, no, dating and dismemberment. and it's like a monster. I think it's like a monster rom-com. Honestly, it's like super fun. I just needed something to have a good time with. I think Joy just finished reading it. And so she's just like waiting for me to finish so we can talk about it.
Perfect. Jen, what are you reading?
So I just finished reading Rose Cedar's book, Evie, Dimples, and Her Devil. And I'm about to start Ali Shantae's Living Legends book.
I am too. I cannot wait to read that. And you guys will actually get to meet her at Sinners and Stardust as well as Jason Pinter, which I'm super excited about, and Carissa Broadbent. So we have a TBR that is insanely large, all four of us as our collective, because we really want to read the books from our signing authors and have that fun conversation. Like, we're so happy you're here. I'm stoked. I'm beyond stoked. All right, you guys. So we are super excited about our author interview today. Bethany, who are we interviewing today?
We are interviewing the amazing Lauren Biel.
And Lauren Biel is most famous for what, Jen?
Mayo!
Mayo! Mayo! All right, you guys. So please enjoy Miss Lauren Biel. All right, you guys. So we are here with the ever so lovely Miss Lauren Biel. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. So we are super excited to have you as a signing author with Sinners and Stardust. So we're going to go in and ask you just some super fun questions.
Okay. I guess I'm going to start. So Bethany and I have read your books. We've each read a different one. What genres do you write?
I definitely am very firmly in dark romance. I do also write some horror romances, so I can go real dark. But I've been like dabbling in a few dark light books to try to make things a little more palatable to like everyone else. So but I'm firmly in the dark romance genre.
I like how you were like, I am firmly, like, you will not find me anywhere else. I am standing my goddamn ground. Like, this is where I live.
Yep.
I love it. Well, it's like my first book by you was Hitched, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I haven't read Captured yet. I own it, and I know about it and the Mayo scene, and I'm here for it.
Oh
so
my
ready.
God. Like, I now know. Okay, so Lauren, I will be 100% honest with you. I have not read your books. You're on my to be read. I have a 290 book for Sinners and Stardust. And literally, I've heard about this scene. Like, they were very adamant about telling me this because I'm like the fairy dust of the Dark Collective. So it's a constant struggle. So
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited for me to read it. I'm very excited for them to get my reaction from reading it.
I'm like, can we all do a buddy read?
You'll just get a DM and we're all just like, Mayo, period.
Right.
All the Mayo gifts.
Well, it's like we just, I just got Bethany to read Bryn Weaver's book, Butcher and Blackbird. I know that you guys are like friends, and like the ice cream scene. So I was like, no. I feel like that one even is nothing.
It's my favorite ice cream.
Like, I said, out of everything, I could probably eat it, like if I had to. But like the thought of the Mayos, just like there's no way I'd be able to do that.
Well, you like never forget. Like I love Mayo, so I still eat it. Yeah. But I think of Captured every single time. Every time.
Wait, Bethany, weren't you just telling me?
Like I was literally. We went to a restaurant or a fast food place, and I got a chicken sandwich. I was so excited because the chicken was like perfectly crispy. It was just juicy enough. I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying it. I'm like, oh, the mayo tastes. Wait. No. I was like, no, please, guys.
Yeah.
And then I just, in my head, I was just like, that's it. I can't eat this anymore. And I still ate it. But like,
you're like crying while you're eating it. You're like, I'll eat the mayo.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I can't look at chicken sandwiches the same because they typically come with mayo.
Yeah. I'm like, so how did you think of the mayo scene? Like, were you just like, I feel like this is really gonna stick with people?
So my husband actually came up with the mayo idea. So I gave him a big I gave him a big thank you in the back of Captured. But like, because I'm gross, but not as gross as some of his ideas. Like the amount of vetoes that I do. But I'm gross too because he didn't think of the eating contest. That was all me. So we work as like a tiered team here. He gives me a gross idea and I make it memorable.
You're like, we're
And
gonna
then I
fit
was like,
it somehow.
I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because at first it was a spoon. And I was like, as I was rereading it right before publication, I was like, no, no, no. A spatula full. So it's like, I just had to make it worse.
Oh my God. I love though, like one of the things I absolutely love about the bookish community, there's no shame in what people do. And I love that because value what you love and people will love you for it. But I love that when I say the words mayo, tiramisu, the gun scene, people know exactly what I'm talking about. And I love that, like it's just so cool that there's authors out there, like you are known for one specific thing, but it gets your name on the map no matter what, even to people like me who don't read books like that traditionally. And now I'm just like, oh no, now I need to read the whole book because now I need to know what
Yeah, people like literally just think of me as like the gross author. Like that's like what I became. And I've had to just embrace it. Like I'm the male author now. I'm the gross one.
That's, yeah. You see, for me, I started with Frisky the Snowman. And that was my introduction to you. And then I think I put it on our story. I went to a local grocery store and they grow, like the vegetables are like local and stuff. And there was just this giant carrot. Yep. I was just
Bethany
like, oh,
sent me the Snapchat.
Everything makes sense now. It was literally, it was like a foot long. It was so big. And I was like, cool, this is that, perfect. I had just finished the book too. I was just like, I can't look at carrots the same anymore.
But I also think it's so cool that like you wrote something that sticks with. It's like Final Destination. You know how like we watched that movie.
You still don't drive behind the truck.
Yeah,
the trucks.
Like you still think about it. like that's what people think of. And they're like, oh my God, Lauren Biel. But did you read it? Did you read it?
Exactly, because like that's so true. There are 5 or 7 Final Destination movies, but no one will ever forget the damn logging truck.
Nope. Every single time I drive by one, I'm like,
I know.
I love this conversation so much.
So right now I'm finishing editing of Across State Lines, which is my next hitchhiker romance. It's a trucker serial killer with multiple personalities. So, and it's just, it's something. It's out there. The, people keep noticing on my trigger, I just say urinal handle. And I'm like, listen, I almost noped out of my own book reading it. So good luck, guys.
I just love that you referenced yourself as the gross author, but like, when people meet you, they're just gonna be like, oh my God, you're so sweet. Like, how is this happening? Like,
the amount of people I get messages from that think I'm like a horrible person. And then I'm like, I'm just like one of these people. Like, yeah. And I'm like, listen, you got to separate the fiction from the artist because I am not like that.
No, but it's so true. Like we've all done podcast interviews, so far. We've interviewed a bunch of people, and the looks of some of the authors to what they write is so opposite sometimes. And you're just like, wait, you wrote that? Like, but it's so cool because the mind works in mysterious ways. And everything your Hitchhiker series reminds me of, because I read I read a lot about you just so I can get to know you a little bit. And I love it because I'm like a diehard SVU person, and like,
same.
Okay, cool. So you get it. Like, and I'm literally rewatching the whole series. And when you were like, the Hitchhiker series alone, I was like, oh my God, I could see Benson totally like investigating this.
Oh yeah. And I'm also working on, speaking of Brynn Weaver, I'm working on a dark rom-com, which I don't know how it will be received by my readers. I feel like they're going to be like, what is this consensual shit?
You don't do that, trash.
We don't do this here. But I'm trying because she really says, yours would be so good. Write one. So it's about like a third of the way done, and I'm terrified of how people will think. If they will like it, if they're gonna hate it. but
I'm
that's
so excited.
also in the
I
works.
love dark rom-coms. Like, that's one of my favorite genres, is a dark rom-com. So I will be reading it as soon as it's out.
Yes. It's and I'm trying, like, it's also serial unalivers, so I mean that's really all I write, I swear, these days. Stranger Session wasn't a serial unaliver. I couldn't even let him, he just didn't seem like the unaliving type, so I didn't even like let him like just be one, because he didn't fit it. When I wrote it, I was like, he's gonna be one. And then when his character came to me, I'm like, you ain't. You ain't it.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe someday, but not anytime soon.
You haven't gotten there yet. Simmer
He's gonna
down.
have some kind of like trauma happen to where he like ends up changing. It's like revenge.
It's so like, I love the way that you describe yourself. I still can't get over that, just because like for me, I love it because people judge through social media, people judge everything. But like a rom-com that also has your spin on it, I want it to be made into a movie yesterday. Like, I feel like people would love it.
I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping that it goes over well. I'm even getting like kind of a illustrated cover for it, so it kind of stands out among like all my other things. So
yeah,
here's to hoping.
Well, I like your graphic posts that you make, because you like let people know like this one's like light dark, this one is dark, this one is pitch black. So I've always feel like that's so nice when authors do that, because some people don't know, like, you know, some people do have those triggers and they know where to start and then work their way down. Or if you're like me, you go to the very worst one and then you work your way back.
And work your way back down. Yep.
Exactly.
That's the hardest part, being an author like me, because I write kind of whatever I want. I'm very, so some things are dark light, especially my earlier works, before I realized that people would like accept this.
Yeah.
And then I go as dark as possible. So it's like I try to portray it in my covers. I try to portray it the best. Like when you look at Captured, you pretty much know that's going to be like dark.
Yeah.
But it's like, so many people ask me where to start, and I'm always like, where are you in your darkness journey? Are you like new season? Where are we? Yep.
I'm like, I got
So
you.
I'm like, if you tell me where you are, I can tell you where to start,
Yeah.
and then work your way up. I've had people who never read dark romance ever start with Captured, and I'm like, are you okay? Are you
Do you
okay?
need someone to talk to?
You need help.
You check in on them.
You're just like, are you alive? Are you alive? Like, is that okay?
Are you good? But they loved it, and I'm like,
Aww.
wow. I'm like,
okay,
well, it
you're
can't
my
go
people.
worse from here, so you can read anything.
And that also has to be kind of hard as an author, is like deciding, because like my spicy compared to someone else's spicy, it's gonna be totally different. Just like my dark is gonna be completely different from someone else's dark. But again, at least you're like kind of giving them a guide. Like, here's what I think, and then you can read the triggers and decide for yourself.
Because I have no triggers, so like my darkness scale in my mind, it's very hard to place my books.
Yeah.
So I tend to really rely on my readers to kind of help me. So if a lot of people are responding how dark something is, I'll move it.
Yeah,
like,
you're
just kidding. This is darker than I thought.
That's how I am. I don't really have any. The only book I've ever not been able to read, I won't say the name of it, but it's like, is it splatterpunk? Is that what the genre? So that's the only one that I just like don't enjoy really reading. But everything else is a go, and I'll still try it. I'll still be like, maybe, let's see.
Well, splatterpunk like goal is to gross you out. Yes. So like if you notice some of my horror romances take on parts of that, because I love splatterpunk.
Yeah.
But I love splatterpunk and dark romance. So like you merge those two, and that's when you get Captured, Never Let Go, and Don't Stop. Those are my horrors.
Those are even fine for me though. Those are great.
Like, but that's because I focus on the romance. Splatterpunk, they don't care. So they often do
eating weird
just
stuff.
Gross you out.
Worse than mayo. Worse than mayo.
So
on a shirt.
You write, you're an amazing author. We obviously, just in the first 14 minutes of this podcast, we're obsessed with you. But what do you do when you're not writing? Like, what do you do on your free time?
So I was working a day job that took up all other time besides my writing. But then I ended up leaving my day job back in October. I finally was comfortable enough to do that. So for hobby wise, I spent a lot of time with my cats.
It's fine.
And I horseback ride, and we spend a lot of time hiking. So like waterfalls around this area are wonderful. So we try to hike as much as we can. So if I'm not doing any of those, I'm reading. I admit I haven't read as much this year as I'd like to have, but like I dived right into Where's Molly once that came out. But other than that, I've been kind of like just living my life, just trying to get these books done. And I went horseback riding yesterday for the first time this winter because it's been so cold. I'm upstate New York, so it's freezing.
Okay, I'm in Connecticut, so I feel
that's
you.
what I was going to be like, where are you? Where are you?
I'm not quite there.
So we had a 45 degree day, so we took advantage of it.
Tell me he's going to be at Sinners. Is he going to be there?
He is.
Oh, I want to meet him. I want to meet him.
He's my assistant for everything, and I'm always like, I always see people and they're like, I pay my assistants, and I'm like, you ain't getting paid, honey. You get paid in love.
You say you get dishes later.
Yep, you get to put excerpts in my book sometimes.
You get to carry all of the everything.
You have the privilege of existing next to me at these sightings.
That is going to become
see the awkwardness unfold.
Just like, hi.
I'm so weird around people. Like, I don't know how to like interact, and I'm like, people like get a kick out of me because I'm so socially awkward. And I'm like, listen, I've been working from home for the last like 5 years. I'm completely feral at this point. Like,
let me out in the world and I'm gonna roam.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't bring me out around people anymore.
I live in my enclosure.
Like, please, Paul, let me outside. Go out into the world.
So what inspired you to write Stranger Session? Also, did you come up with the moisturizer part by yourself? We've talked about how your husband kind of likes to give some ideas. I'm just curious how everything came about with that book.
So Stranger Session came about because I'm obsessed with Facebook blind date photo shoots. Obsessed.
Yes.
What is that?
That was a thing until the book.
Yeah. So, yes. So that's when you sign up with like a photographer, and they bring two people completely blindfolded. They take the blindfold off, and then you kind of do a couple shoot with the person that you've never met before. And the pictures are so cute. Like, it would never be me. I would never be that comfortable and cute with anybody. Not even my husband. You should see how hard our couples shoot took. Like
you're like,
I'm like, we've been together 6 years and this is embarrassing.
Oh no. It's not embarrassing.
But it was fine. We made it work. But it's like the sexual chemistry between two strangers is just so adorable. Like I can't stand it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write that into a book. But I was like, well, I don't really write light romances. I was like,
like,
they're gonna like each other, and he's gonna become her stalker. Bam, story done.
Kind of bow on it.
Dark romance.
But the lotion I was like, I have this thing where I like to jizz in things in my books. So you got Captured in the mayo jar. You got Along for the Ride in the vase. You got, in the lotion. So I was trying to think of like where he could like put his stuff. And I'm like, oh man, a lotion bottle. Then she has to wear it all the time. Like, action. Like,
wait, is it like moisturizer for her face, or is it like lotion?
She just it's lotion.
Everywhere?
I didn't put moisturizer, but in lotion, so it's whatever. But she wears it all the time, so he knows she's wearing it, and I'm like,
you know that that one audio where I just felt like when I was reading it, he just looks over at the bottle, and that audio is like, "Look at me in this opportunity."
That's exactly what it is. It was like, that just works. But then it's like,
my cheeks hurt.
I'm expanding unethical on my Patreon, so it's like he came in her toothbrush, he came in a cantaloupe, and then he fed her the cantaloupe. That I'm like, bro, I gotta stop. And across state lines, he does it in ice cube tray. I'm like, so here
Is
I
it
am just
flavored
ruining
ice?
more things for my poor readers. Like, you can't enjoy anything at this point. Have anything
Salad
anymore.
dressing.
Food.
Salad dressing.
Stay away from the one healthy thing I eat. Don't you dare, Jen. You can do it, Lauren. Jen, no.
Little creamy Caesar. Let's go.
Oh,
That's
It's
not
already, like,
anchovies you
fishy.
taste.
Do you know what this reminds me of? It's because I've only been reading for like 2 years, like heavily reading. And so I was a big TV person before that, hence why I referenced SVU
Same.
earlier. So do you know what this whole conversation reminds me of? And some of you, I don't know, I don't know if you'll be old enough to remember this show. Do you remember Nip Tuck?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a whole episode with Joan Rivers where she has face cream made of semen. Like, that is literally an episode. And I was like, oh my God. Because everyone's like, why do you look so young? When we all know Joan Rivers has had like $90,000 million of plastic surgery. She's like, it's
my
the seed. It's my cream.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned SVU, because in the expanded unethical, she goes for a jog in the woods and something happens, but she's like, so right before something happens, she's like, oh my God, Law and Order SVU taught me what happens when you go jogging. Like, it literally says it. And it's like, because I'm a big show and movie buff too.
Same,
Like,
yeah.
Captured came from watching a movie, and so did Never Let Go.
Mhm.
It's because I watched because I love horror movies. So I watched it and I was like, ugh, I hate that ending. So I was like, I'm going to go write it how I want it,
Perfect.
which is how those two came to be.
I
Like,
love
it's
that.
like, so because I have more time to, like, especially when I was working my day job, I'd watch movies in the background. It's
Mhm.
not like I could read and work. I guess I could have did audiobooks, but I was like on the phone with people. It would be my luck to have something like raunchy come on while I'm on the phone.
You're
Right.
like, oh no. They're like, what did you just say? You're like, don't worry about it. Mute.
You're like, nothing. It's nothing.
You're like, cough, 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 cough.
I'm like, dang it, Uncle Carl. Stop it.
The sweet words from
Carl.
Teddy Hamilton. Just let it go.
Let it go.
They'd honestly be like, so what was that book again? That one call, right? You're just
What's
like,
What's the title?
like,
Like,
are we
we're
best
gonna
friends?
cough again. Like, nah.
So, all of the books that you've talked about God, I cannot wait to read them. Mainly, I cannot wait for the Dark Collective to get my reactions from reading them. But do you have a favorite book that you have wrote?
Okay, it's gonna be not what you think, because like Hitch is one of my favorites because that book drove me absolutely wild to write, like mentally. Like I had such a blast with that book, but in more ways than one. But my favorite is actually Men of Mayhem and Vengeance, which like nobody knows exists. It's so I have a thing, like I have a major, I would say a fetish for like old-timey gangsters. Like if you think about Lawless, Public Enemies, like all those like
movies.
like Johnny Depp when he played that, I was like, boy.
Dude, that whole movie, I could not stop watching it. I've watched it so
Yep.
many times because Public Enemy is such a great movie. They did such a good job on that.
So I wanted a spicy. So if you think of like Peaky Blinders, that's the closest thing people know who don't watch weird movies like I do. So the whole book is a reverse harem with 4 gangsters, and like it's in single point of view. So she's just like worshipped by these 4 like monstrous gangsters, and it's like that book just, I lose myself in it. I don't even like exist in this world anymore. And like people are just starting to realize it exists. So like I'm thinking of writing more in it, which would be the best thing, but it's historical dark romance. So as soon as people hear historical, they're out. They're like, I don't want anything to do with it.
But understand, because especially if as long as it has spice, I'll read it. I don't care what time period it's in, as long as it's got spice in it. And like the historical aspect to me makes it even more exciting because you're like learning stuff, whether it's accurate or not. Like I'm like, ooh.
But it's like the setting of like Prohibition era, and like where you're just, there's so much crime and there's no phones, there's no cameras, there's you can do whatever you want. You can kill as many people as you want. Like it's limitless opportunities for murder.
I think if you market it though as the Prohibition dark romance, people would, because Peaky Blinders,
It's actually a smart idea.
I actually can't think of the guy who plays the main character. He has an interesting name because he's
he's
believe
delicious.
Oh my God, I'd lick him. But it's the fact of the matter that if you market it that way, because women right now are obsessed with Peaky Blinders. It's been on the top 10 for Netflix forever, especially because that is, if I read that and I was like, Prohibition era, are you talking about those fashion newsboy caps and the suits and the chains?
Yeah.
I'm in, and the machine guns. Where are you putting them?
Yep.
Like, I'm into it.
That is that's actually a really good idea.
I'll take it. No, I'm just kidding.
She said, write me in the beginning. One of your characters could be named Red, Fancy Red, in the flapper.
That's not a super dark book either. So it's the worst part is that she does get like assaulted by 3 men. So I guess it is bad, but it's not.
Is there cheating though?
No.
Then it's
not that bad.
The male main characters are very good to her. So I consider it lighter.
Yeah.
Or on the lighter end than some of my works. Because some of my male main characters, like, I don't know if you've read like Driving My Obsession yet, but like he does such like dickish things. Like I was like, you sent what to her, Mom? Like I was writing this and I'm like, I don't like you, dude. I'm like, people I was like, people are not gonna like you, sir. But then I still managed to love him. That's why like he had his whole arc and I'm like, I love you now. So it's like, but the bullying in that, I'm like, sir,
yeah, I'm a huge
you and I aren't friends right now.
Real life, but I do like that. I'm gonna hit you, but no, not really.
That's how like my characters come to me though. Like they don't listen to me. Like they have full control of the situation. So it's like, it was like when it happened, I'm not even kidding. I assume readers are the same. I was like, what? You did what? Because I didn't even like, it doesn't plan. It just happens. So it's like I'm living the experiences with you guys as I write.
That's amazing. All right, so going back to the beginning of your author journey, what is one piece of advice you wish you would have had that you know now?
Probably not to be afraid of the darkness, because in my original books, I was very angsty, like very emotional, which they're still good in their own way, you know? But it's like I was afraid to go too deep because I was like, oh, what if people don't accept me? And the moment I put out like Never Let Go, I was like, they like me even when I'm horrifying. So then I just kind of went with that. So if my early self would be like, don't even bother with like angsty, just go right for like dark, even if you make it dark and angsty, I would have dived right into the dark deep end from like, because they don't really fit on my graphic. Like I'm like, I don't know what to do with you guys.
And that's one thing about like social media. You know, people like hate social media and then you love it. But I feel like with social media, it's let people open their minds to things in a sense of being like, oh, other people are okay reading this, or like helping people find authors that they do like that writing style. So I just think it's so cool that, you know, so many authors are finding their readers through social media and author events and stuff.
Speaking of author events, literally, like I am looking forward to Sinners and Stardust probably more than anything. Like I literally cannot wait for it. There was nothing that was going to keep me from going. I was like,
I am showing up.
What are you most excited for at Sinners and Stardust?
Well, it was pretty much going to be mostly it's like, these are all my people. Like when you go to book signings as like a dark author like me, you don't know if like anyone will be your audience. You don't know if you're going to be like the sad girl at your birthday party and nobody comes at the signings when you're like this kind of dark. Like, hello, hey, come visit me. I'm not a killer. Like, but this, I know everyone is going to be at least open to my type of books.
Yeah.
So like you fostered one of the few like dark, not dark only, but dark heavy, like audience for us. So I'm so excited about it. And then it's like then I found out Bryn was going and Santana was going. So I get to meet people that are like idols in my own field, like my own genre. So
Well,
it's like you made this like environment that's so perfect.
you are an idol to someone else that we've interviewed, actually. Jen, you want to tell her?
Yeah. You can go. I feel like I
Okay.
talked a lot.
So we did a podcast interview yesterday, and when we asked very similar questions just to make it really easy for people when they're listening.
Like
and
the last two questions.
The last two questions are pretty much the same based on like, are you excited and your advice. And when we asked an author, like, we're like, hey, who are you most excited to meet, or what are you most excited about Sinners and Stardust? She goes, I cannot wait to meet Lauren Biel. And I was like, oh, we're going to talk to her tomorrow, but she doesn't know that. Her name is Ali Shante. She is very excited to meet you.
Yeah.
That makes my heart. Oh my God. Because like, it's like I Hitch blew me up in January, and I haven't quite gotten used to the fact that like people know who I am, or like that other people could be like looking up to me, because like I feel like I'm a hot mess express. Like I feel like everything I do, I'm just like winging it. So it's like, I'm like, don't idolize me. I don't know what I'm doing. But like, that makes me so happy. So it's like, I hope people know that they can always message me. Like, I'll help anyone. So all they got to do is shoot me a message, and I'm an open book.
I love that. And I think I literally just said this recently, that no matter how much or how busy you are, how busy other people are, just that little acknowledgement from someone that you look up to, even if it's a like, a comment, a share, a save, whatever it may be the smallest thing to you, but it's such a huge thing to your fans. And I think that is just amazing that you're like, I'm an open book, hit me up, like,
Yep.
I love that. Aw.
I'm so excited to meet you in August. Are you going to any other events?
Yes. So this year I have Denver, Readers Take Denver. I have Bray, Beyond the Reader author event in Ohio. Then I have Sinners and Stardust, Dark StarCon in New Orleans in late August. I was like, I'm gonna die. Me and Heat don't like do super great. And then I have Getting Witchy with It in Salem, and then I'm doing Authors in the Bluegrass in Kentucky in October. And I know I overcommitted. I feel like the woman who took 9 puppies home from Bridesmaids. I was like, I maybe overcommitted a little bit.
So
But
I'm
it's like,
actually on my so I'm a vendor as well. Like, I'm going to Readers Take Denver and stuff like that with my shop. And I have a video on my Instagram that is literally shows all the events that I'm going to this year. And it literally has that audio from Bridesmaids where they're like, how many did you take? And she's like, I took 9. I might have slightly overcommitted. But we'll be at Readers Take Denver too.
Oh, that's wonderful. See, I love connecting with readers, but it's like, I never know what to expect, or like how much to bring, or like, and I mean, in Salem, somebody literally brought me a mayo jar to sign. Like, and I was like, heck yes, give me that. Like,
that's wonderful.
She's like, just
we're gonna do that. We're 100% going to do that. And
I kind of need to find one now.
Right? Like that's 100% happening.
I had to have a reader send me a mayo jar because I don't have jars in my house anymore. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm like squeezing mayo all the way.
Yeah.
So it's like, I posted on social media. I was like, does anybody have an empty, cleaned out mayo jar for me?
She said, I will in a minute.
Just give me a minute.
So, because I used it for my like for people to put the tickets in to win something. So I really just I embrace it. As much as I'm like, I hate being the mayo author. Stop calling me that. I do more than just gross things. I embrace it. I really do.
It's one of those where you're like, stop.
Yeah, I'm like, and I like have a captured shirt which has a big mayo jar and it's spreading the mayo and that's in my shop, and I wear that everywhere because it's so pretty and it's like purple and it's all me, and people be like, what's with the
will know it. Yeah.
Yep. People are like, what's with the mayo jar? And I'm like, you don't want to know, but I'll tell you anyways.
I love it because that's a way better story than when we wear Sinners merch, like out and about. People ask me all the time. I don't know. I mean, I know that Jen and Bethany probably had it too, but people are like, what's Sinners and Stardust. And so I like go a little bit above and beyond, and I'm just like, oh, it's like a really dirty, nasty, dark romance book convention with like a lot of really X-rated authors. Like I go above and beyond. Like literally, and people are just like, oh.
They just walk
okay.
away.
They just walk away. They don't even know what to say at that point.
You're like, it's a giant swinger signing, so like you should come.
I do think it's
Here's
cool
my
that
card.
some of our authors that we have, like you said, like most, like 99% of our authors are like like dark romance, but we did bring a few on that are like spicier, but they're not super dark. But like between when they got brought on and the event, they're writing like slowly into darker romance. And I just think that's so awesome that they're like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try.
That's how it goes though. Like once you write
like,
dark,
people are okay
going
with
back
this.
is like real hard. You're like, oh, he just bought you a car. He didn't steal it for you. Like he didn't kidnap somebody and bring it to you. Like ugh.
Listen to
Lame.
How dare you?
Me and everyone writes like billionaires. And I'm like, I write felons that have absolutely nothing to their name. That's what I bring to the table.
They make it work.
All right, you guys. Well, Miss Lauren, thank you so much on behalf of myself. I know Bethany and Jen want to say thank you, but this was one of the funnest, my cheeks hurt from laughing interviews I have done.
My cheeks were hurting about 10 seconds in.
Honestly, I keep having to like massage my cheekbones.
Yeah, I was like,
they just hurt so much at this point.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. This was amazing.
Of course, anytime.
Yes.
And I'm super excited to see you in August.
Oh, we're definitely gonna have a little like moment with all of us together. It's gonna be freaking amazing. All right, you guys. So make sure to tune in to the Dark Collective podcast every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to go to our Instagram, the Dark Collective podcast, and click the link in bio to watch us on all platforms. And we're super excited for you guys to see all the amazing interviews to come. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.